So here are the penguins. I'm just going to show you a close-up of each one. And I just wanted you to see the size differences also. Here's the first penguin, and this one's about 9 inches up to the top of the hat, and I sewed the hat on to the head. Here's a close-up of the face and the pretty eyes. Has green on the sun catcher craft eyes. Here's the feet. And this is a soft yarn used for the face and the belly. And then here's the tail. The tail helps to hold up the penguin so it can stand up. And then the flippers have a purple, pretty purple color on the inside. And then you can have fun with the colors. This one has a different type of yarn that I let you know on when you start making it, if you would rather use this kind. And this is like a light pink and a hot pink color, and then I have a light pink yarn. And I wanted to show you the difference with the feet. You could leave it this way, more puffy if you wanted, and then it has the soft yarn on the belly. And you can just have fun with the colors that you use for the hat and the colors you use for your penguin. And then here is the back of the penguin. And here is a baby penguin just for fun. And I made the feet the same size and the flippers the same size as these penguins. And the eyes are a little different. I'll show you how to make the eyes on this one too. Here's the bigger penguin. And on this penguin, I show you how to make your own eyes. He has a really pretty blue. You can use whatever color that you want, and this has the soft yarn again on the belly and the face. And his hat will come off, so you could sew it on, or you can make it so it comes off. He has a scarf too that's removable. And I just wanted to show you the difference. The Red Heart yarn has a darker black. You can even see it on video, a shinier black, and then the Karen 1 pound is like a duller black. So you can see the difference, but I went ahead and just left it. Still looks cute, but for yours you may want to just use the Red Heart yarn. And then there's the tail to help it sit up. This one I made with the pipsqueak yarn, and it's a really soft blue. So you can have fun with the colors. This one I also just sewed on the hat so it doesn't come off. And then has a really pretty soft yarn for the scarf, the white scarf, and then his feet. So you can have fun and do whatever colors that you want, or you can just use traditional colors. And there's the blue one up close. For this crochet project I used my F or 4mm crochet hook, as well as my J or 6mm crochet hook. You're also going to need a pair of scissors and your tapestry needle. The colors that I used for this video tutorial are Pretty in Pink by Red Heart Super Saver. I'm also using Red Heart Baby Clouds, and this color is Pink Lemonade. I used a lot of Red Heart Super Saver for this project, so you can have fun with the colors. Another color that I used for a penguin was Royal Blue. This is Red Heart Super Saver. And of course you'll need black if you're making the traditional penguin colors. I also used Medium Purple. I love the way this yarn looks on the penguins, but I know that some people have difficulty with this yarn, so that's why I showed some alternative yarns, but I absolutely love this yarn if you're able to use it. And this color is Blue Ice. I also used the Bernat Pipsqueak Whitey White color on some of my penguins. For the beak, I used Red Heart Super Saver Gold color. You're also going to need some yarn. If you're making your own eyes, you're going to need the color that you want to make your eyes. You're going to need your black yarn and then whatever color your eyes are going to be. And also some white yarn. I'm using some of my leftover Effervesce white yarn. I'm going to show you how to make crochet eyes for the larger penguin, but if you like the eyes on the smaller penguin, I use Suncatcher Craft Eyes, the 20mm, and you can go right to their website and order whatever colors that you want. And I have this these green ones that I'm using for my project. We're going to start making the head of the penguin. So I'm using my darker pink to show you, but if you want to make yours in the traditional color, you would just use the black yarn. The black yarn doesn't show up as well on video, which is why I'm using the pink yarn. But just take the pink yarn and drape it across your 4 fingers and use your thumb to stabilize, and then wrap the yarn around your 2 middle fingers twice, and then hold it in place with your pinky and thumb. Then I'm using my F crochet hook, and you're just going to go under those 2 loops around the middle fingers, and then you're going to just grab the yarn and bring up a loop. Then you're going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through that loop for your slip knot. Now you're going to make 6 single crochet into the magic circle. So just take your crochet hook, go under those 2 loops, bring up a loop. You have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through both for a single crochet. And we're going to make 6 of them into the magic circle. So that's 2. So I just made 6 single crochet into the magic circle. I'm going to use my forefinger and thumb, hold it at the base of those 6 single crochet. And you have these 2 loops on the opposite side. You're going to pull on one of them. If it doesn't close, just let go and pull on the other one, but this one's closing, so gently close it up. Then take the loose yarn in and pull on that. Don't worry about closing it all the way. We can close it more later. Then you're going to take and turn your work like this. And we're going to go into that first stitch in the circle. So you go into that first stitch under both loops. And we're going to make 2 single crochet into the same stitch. So go into the same stitch. And you're going to make 2 single crochet into the same stitch. And we're going to make 2 single crochet into every stitch around until we have a total of 12. And this is my last stitch. I'm going to make 2 single crochet into my last stitch, and then I'll have a total of 12. Now you can take and close the center of your magic circle if it's still open. Just take and turn your work over and pull on that loose yarn in on the back, and then that closes up the magic circle nicely. Now you're going to get a yarn marker. You can buy yarn markers, but I like to just use my scraps of yarn. Just place it right where you left off. Now we're going to make increase rounds. So you're going to take your crochet hook, go into that first stitch, and make 1 single crochet. Then in the second stitch, you're going to make 2 single crochet into the same stitch. And then you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So I'm going to do one more set with you. I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and then 2 single crochet into the second stitch. And then I'm going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker and then come back. So if you remember, our last round we had 12 stitches. Now after this round you have 18. So that's what it means by doing an increase round. We're increasing our stitches around the circle. So I'm not going to give you the count each time now. I'm just making sure that you can follow along and see what we're doing. Now we're going to make our next increase round. So you're just going to take your yarn marker and move it up to where we left off. And for this increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into 2 stitches. And then in the 3rd stitch, you're going to make 2 single crochet into the same stitch. Then you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. Now go ahead and move your yarn marker up, and we're going to do one more increase round. You're going to make 1 single crochet into 3 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the 4th stitch, and then come back. Now we're going to make our last increase round. Take your crochet hook, move it up to where you left off, and you're going to make 1 single crochet into 4 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the 5th stitch, and then repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So that is your last increase round if you're making the 8-inch sized penguin. And I just want to show, this is for the beginners mainly, but I just want to show you, for this round you should count your stitches, and when you're counting your stitches, I'm going to put the tapestry needle through 1 stitch. So that's 1 stitch, 2 stitch, 3, 4. So you count them all the way around, and you should have 36 stitches after that round. Then for each of the next 10 rounds, you should have 36 stitches for each round. Because if you don't, then it's either going to get smaller or bigger. So for the next 10 rounds, go ahead and move your yarn marker up. The next 10 rounds, you should only have 1 single crochet into every stitch. So I would recommend counting if you've never made one of these before, just to make sure that you aren't increasing or decreasing your stitches, and that for every round you have 36 stitches. So go ahead and make 10 rounds of just 1 single crochet into every stitch. For the larger penguin, you're just going to keep making your increase rounds until you get to the size that you want. And for mine, this yarn marker represents where we stopped for the smaller penguin, the 8-inch penguin. And for the larger penguin, I did 1 in 5, then 2 single crochet in the 6th stitch, 1 in 6, 1 in 7, and then 1 in 8. So my last round was 1 single crochet into 8 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the 9th stitch. My total number of stitches on that last round was 60 for the larger penguin. Then, after you finish the increase rounds, go ahead and move your yarn marker up, and you're going to make 1 single crochet into every stitch. So for each round that you make now, you're always going to have 60 stitches when you finish that round. So for the larger penguin, you're going to need 1 single crochet into every stitch for 14 rounds. So you need 14 rounds of 1 single crochet into every stitch for the larger penguin. You should have finished 10 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rows of 1 single crochet into every stitch if you're making the smaller penguin. Now you're just going to set this aside for a minute, and we're going to make the face. Now you just decide if you want to use your Red Heart Baby Clouds or a Bernat Pipsqueak, or what type of yarn you want for the eyes. I'm going to show you what it looks like with the pink colored with the baby clouds. I'm using my J or 6mm crochet hook for this. When you're using the Pipsqueak, it's harder to see the stitches as you work. So it's the same way though that you did for the body and for the head. The first thing you're going to do is you're just going to drape the yarn across your 4 fingers, use your thumb to stabilize, and then wrap the yarn around your 2 middle fingers. and then hold it in place with your pinky and your thumb. So the same way. Then take your crochet hook, go right under those 2 loops, bring up a loop. Then you're going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through that loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to make 6 single crochet into the magic circle. Make sure that your loops are not too tight around your crochet hook. You want it to have it loose loops around the crochet hook as you're crocheting. That was my 4th one. 5th one. And 6th. So I have 6 single crochet into the magic circle. I'm going to use my forefinger and thumb and hold the base just like I've shown you before. And then you're going to close it. That one's not moving, so I'm going to, actually it is. So you just gently close it. Then take your loose yarn in and pull on that. Don't worry about pulling it too tight. Then this is the part where it gets a little tricky, but once you've made the head, you know where the stitches are. So you just take your crochet hook, go into that first stitch, and you're going to make 2 single crochet into that stitch. And you're going to make 2 single crochet into every stitch all the way around. Don't worry if you're off count, because you should have 12 if you do that. But if you're off a little bit by the stitch, it's not that important really. As long as you're close and it lies flat, you're okay. So you just keep making 2 single crochet into every stitch all the way around. And this is my last stitch. And then that's how your work should look so far. If you have an opening in the center, just turn it over and gently pull on that loose yarn end, and that should close it up for you. For the 8-inch penguin, you would be finished at this point. But if you're making the larger penguin, then you're going to want to make 2 single crochet into every stitch around again until you have the size that you want for your larger penguin. So 1 more would do it. So we're making the smaller one with this one. So you're just going to take your crochet hook, go into that next stitch over, then you're going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and bring the yarn through both loops on your hook for a slip stitch. Then you're going to finish off, going to yarn over and pull enough yarn through so you can sew it onto your penguin. And then you're going to need 2 of these for the eyes. Now I'm going to show you what it's like using the pipsqueak yarn, because I actually like using this yarn for this project. So you're basically going to do it the same way that you made the head. The only difference is this yarn makes it difficult to see the stitches. So what you're going to do is just drape the yarn over your 4 fingers, use your thumb to stabilize, drape the yarn across your 2 middle fingers and then hold it in place with your pinky and thumb. And I use my larger hook because it helps make the stitches larger so that you can find them as you're crocheting. Then take your crochet hook, just go under those loops, bring up a loop, and don't make it too tight. Make your loop fit nicely around your crochet hook. It doesn't have to be tight. Then just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through that loop for a slip knot. Then make sure your loop around your crochet hook isn't too tight. Then you're going to make 6 single crochet into the magic circle. So I have 2 loops around my crochet hook right now. I'm going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and bring the yarn through both for a single crochet. And you can see how it would be difficult. It just looks like a furry blob, but you know that you have a single crochet that you just made. I have another loop on my crochet hook, going through underneath to bring up a loop. Now I have 2 loops loosely on my crochet hook. Yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through both for my second single crochet. And I'm going to make 6 single crochet into this magic circle. Then I'm going to take my forefinger and thumb and hold it at the base of those 6 single crochet. Then you still have those little furry loops opposite your 6 single crochet. It's just a little bit harder to see with this furry yarn. You're going to pull on one and then gently close. And again, same thing with this one. If it doesn't close, you let go and pull on the other one, but this one's closing. Just gently close it. You don't have to pull it real tight. Then take your loose yarn in and gently pull on that. Then you're going to turn it just like you did for the head to work into your first stitch. And as you can see, it just looks like a furry blob, but you know that there's a stitch there. Don't worry if you don't have the exact number of stitches, that doesn't matter, as long as it stays flat and looks furry for when you place it on your penguin. So take your crochet hook, go ahead and go into that first stitch, bring up a loop, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through both for a single crochet, and you're going to make 2 single crochet into the same stitch. So I have 2 single crochet into that stitch, and then I'm going to go next to it into the next stitch where I know there's a stitch there, and I'm going to make 2 stitches in that one, just like we did for the head. The only difference is you're kind of working blind. You know the stitch is there, so you're just feeling around for that stitch to work your 2 single crochet into that stitch. So this is my 8th stitch. This is the 10th. And then the last one, 2 single crochet into that last stitch. And you can see how you have a nice furry blob for your penguin eye. And it's about the same if you used the other type of yarn. I would say that this yarn is probably the easier one, but I just love the pipsqueak one for this project too. So if you're able to do it, this is a nice option for you. Then just take your crochet hook, go into the next stitch over, because this one we're going to make into the large penguin eye. So you need to make another round. I'm just going to put my yarn marker so you can kind of follow as I work to make the larger penguin eye. So that was for the 8-inch penguin eye. So I'm going to make 2 single crochet into every stitch around all the way to the yarn marker. And this is for my larger penguin. And you can kind of see how I'm working around. So as you can see, I'm trying to get 2 single crochet into every stitch. I'm not that concerned if I miss anything as long as it stays flat. That's all I want. I just want a furry circle. So I know that some people, they like to be exact, but for this one it makes it a little bit trickier to try to do that. So I don't worry about that much. And then you can see I'm back to my yarn marker. So I'm going to finish that finished up for that. And you can see how it makes a nice furry circle. That's what you want. So for my penguin, I'm actually going to go one more round because I want it a nice and big furry circle. So I'm actually going to make 2 single crochet into every stitch around for another round. And I'm just going to record so you can see what I'm doing. So you can see, I can't really see the stitches. Some people say they can feel them, but I'm just going right next to where I know the stitch is, and I just bring my crochet hook right through there. So I just know there's a stitch right next to it. So I'm just going in there and I'm making 2. The reason you want to make 2 is because you want to increase the size. You don't want it to curl up into a ball. You want it to lay flat. So we're making increase stitches, so 2 single crochet into every prior row's stitch, and that just increases the number of stitches for the next round. It will curl up just a little bit, but don't worry, we're going to sew it down flat, so that won't be a problem. So I'm putting 2 single crochet into every stitch. This is my last stitch. And that is the large penguin eye, back for the back and for the eye. Then you can just go ahead and slip stitch into the next stitch over, just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and bring the yarn through both loops on your hook, then yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew it onto your penguin. So if you're making the large penguin, you're going to need 2 of these. And of course, if you're making the smaller one, you would make the smaller one and make 2 of those. If you're making your eyes, then I'm going to show you how to do that. You're going to start with your F crochet hook. And for the center of the eye, you're going to use your black yarn. Since you know how to do the magic circle, now I'm just going to show you with the black yarn on video. Just take and make your magic circle just like you did before. And then I'm using my F crochet hook, go under those 2 loops, bring up a loop, then yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through that loop for a slip knot. Now you're going to make 6 single crochet into the magic circle. Then you're going to take your forefinger and thumb and hold it at the base. You have your 2 loops on the other side that you're going to pull on one to close it up gently. Pull on the loose yarn end. Then you're going to make 2 single crochet into every stitch around. So I'm going to go into the first stitch and make a single crochet. See if I can bring that in. See, the black yarn's a little bit trickier. Doesn't want to show up as well. But you've done this before, so you're just going to make 2 single crochet into every stitch around until you have a total of 12. It's my last stitch. So this is the center of the eye. Then, if you still have a little opening in the center of the magic circle, just turn it over and gently pull on that loose yarn end, and that will close it up. Then you're going to take your crochet hook and you're going to go into the next stitch over and bring up a loop. So you have 2 loops on your hook. This is when you bring in your new yarn, and I'm using this lighter blue for the color of the eyes. So whatever color you want your eyes to be, that's the yarn that you're going to bring. You're going to loop it and bring it through both loops on your hook. Then you're going to chain 1 with your new color. Chain 1. Then you're going to take and cut the black yarn because we're not using that anymore. And then you're just going to tie a knot. Then you're going to make 2 single crochet into every stitch with your new color. So I'm going to bury my loose yarn ends as I work, but you don't have to. Go ahead and go into the next stitch over, go behind your loose yarn ends if you're going to bury them. If not, then just bring up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through both for a single crochet. And then you're going to make 2 single crochet into the same stitch. And then by the time we're done, we'll have 24 stitches around the circle. So 2 single crochet into every stitch all the way around, and then come back. After you make 2 single crochet into every stitch around, this is how your work should look. Then you're going to take your crochet hook, go into that first stitch that you started with, and then you're going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and bring the yarn through both loops on your hook for a slip stitch. Then you're going to go ahead and finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew the eye onto your penguin. Then you're going to need some white yarn to make the little white shiny part of the eye. Now when you make your eyes and you place the white portion of the eye, make sure that you place it on the right side. So this is the left eye, so I put it on this side, and then on the right eye I put it on the opposite side. So make sure you put your white dot on the right side before sewing it on. Just take your white yarn onto your tapestry needle, and then you're going to go right into the corner of the eye, just below the blue color, between the blue color and the black portion, or whatever colors you're using for your eye, and make sure you leave enough on the back for tying a knot. And then you're just going to go a row down with your tapestry needle, and you can see how it makes a little shiny white portion of the eye. Then you just take and tie a knot onto the back. And since this is going to be covered or sewn onto the penguin, you can go ahead and cut the loose yarn end. And then you're going to need 2 eyes. Now I'm going to show you how to make this strip across the bottom of the face. And you're going to need your J crochet hook or 6mm crochet hook. You're just going to take your yarn and you're going to fold it over on itself to form a loop. Then you're going to take your crochet hook, put it right through the loop, and then hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and your thumb. Then just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through that loop for your slip knot. Then you're going to make a chain of 12. I'm just going to show you 4 of them. You yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through the loop for 1. 2, and don't make the stitches too tight. So you want the loop to be kind of loose around your crochet hook. 3, and the reason is because, as you can see, it's hard to see your stitches. 4. So go ahead, finish making a chain of 12, and then come back and I'll show you what to do next. After you finish your chain of 12, then you're going to take your crochet hook and go into the second chain from the hook. And then you're going to bring up a loop. You have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through both loops for a single crochet. And then you're going to make 1 single crochet into every stitch back across. So 1 single crochet into every stitch back across. And this yarn, it's actually a little bit easier to see the stitches than it is with the pipsqueak yarn. So if you have trouble with the pipsqueak yarn, you may like this red heart baby cloud. Go ahead, finish making 1 single crochet into every stitch back across, and then come back. This is how your work should look so far. And after you finish your last stitch, go ahead and chain 1, then turn your work, and you're going to make 1 single crochet into the same stitch. So go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, and then make a single crochet. Then you're going to make a single crochet into every stitch back across. In the last stitch, you're going to make 2 single crochet into the same stitch. So 1 single crochet into every stitch except for the last stitch. You're going to make 2 single crochet into that stitch and then come back. Then when you finish your last stitch, then you're going to finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew it onto your penguin. For the larger penguin, I'm going to show you how to make the part of the furry portion beneath the beak with the pipsqueak yarn, so you can see what it looks like when I crochet with the pipsqueak yarn. You're just going to fold it over into a loop, put your crochet hook into the loop, and I'm using my J crochet hook, 6mm, because that helps make the stitches a little larger. Then just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and then go through that loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to make a chain of 20. There's 1. And the thing about the pipsqueak yarn is you really can't see the stitch. So you're just working because you know the stitch is there. So you're just going to go make the sorry about that. So you're going to make the stitches the same way. It's just more difficult to see them. So that's so far a chain of 6. I'm going to do 1 more with you. You're going to finish making a chain of 20. So you just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, go through the loop for a chain. Go ahead and finish making a chain of 20 and then come back. This is how your work should look after making your chain of 20. Then we're going to move up to the next row. So you're going to chain 1. Then you're going to make a single crochet into the second chain from the hook. So take your crochet hook, go into the second chain from the hook, bring up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through both for a single crochet. And then with this yarn, it's difficult to see the stitch, but you know that there's a stitch there. So you're just going to take your crochet hook, go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, and go through both. So with this type of yarn, you can guesstimate. It's not, if you miss a stitch, it's not going to matter that much. As long as you have a furry rectangular shape, you're good. So don't worry if you're not getting into the stitch or you're missing a stitch or anything like that. I know that some people, they feel and make sure that they're not missing any stitch. You can do that as well. But for me, as long as I just guesstimate and I can make my single crochet and it comes out straight like this, that's all you need to do. So go ahead, finish making one single crochet into every stitch, back across, and then come back. This is how your work should look so far. You can see how it's making a rectangular shape. After you make your single crochet into the last stitch, you're going to chain one, turn your work, and then you're going to make a single crochet into the same stitch. So go into the same stitch, bring up a loop, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through both. And then you're just going to go make a single crochet into every stitch back across. I'm just going to show you how I make mine. So I can't see the stitches, but I know there's a stitch there, so I just go right in there. So this yarn looks like it's hard to use, but depending on your project, as you can see for this project, it isn't that hard to work with to get the look that you want, and it's just really soft, which is why I like to use it. Go ahead, finish making one single crochet into every stitch back across, and then make 2 single crochet into the last stitch, and then come back. This is how your work should look. And then if you're making the bottom portion that goes under the beak, you would finish off here, so you just yarn over and then just pull enough yarn through to sew it onto your project. For the fluffy portion that goes on the body, you're going to make it the same way up to this point. For the body, instead of finishing off, you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and then you're going to make a single crochet into every stitch. All the way back across, and then come back. This is how my work looks so far, and you can see how it's a rectangular shape and it's really soft, which is what I like about it. Now this part is going to be the fuzzy part on the belly, so you can make it as big as you like. And what I did now, after I put my last stitch on the end, now I'm going to start working across the end and work in rounds. So I'm going to go into the next stitch over on the end and just make a single crochet. And I'm going to make a single crochet all the way across. And I'm going to go behind the loose yarn end as I make my single crochet and just bury it as I go. And I do that for any loose yarn ends that I run into as I crochet. Then you're going to go back. You already went across the end. Now you're going to go back across the other side. And for my penguin, I'm going around twice. I want it to be a little bit larger. So that's all you do. Go ahead and make a single crochet into every stitch around. Now on the corner stitches, you want to make sure it lays flat, so you may need a couple of stitches on the corner as you work around, but you're only making single crochet stitches. Go ahead and finish making a single crochet stitch. If you want yours as large as mine, then I'm making mine, I go around twice. This is how mine looks so far. So once you're satisfied with the size that you have for yours, then you're just going to go into the next stitch over and yarn over, and then pull the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then you're going to finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew it onto your penguin. It's really soft. For the small penguin, after you finish the 10 rows of 1 single crochet into every stitch, then you're going to sew on the face. I'm going to show you how to do that. Now you're going to get the round circle that you made for the eyes, and then get your craft eyes that you're using, and mine, this is a green colored with a black center, and then just place it where you want it. For mine, I'm just pressing it right into the corner, bottom right corner, and then once you place it, I would recommend placing them onto both and then positioning them to make sure that you have them where you want them before putting your safety latch in place. This is what the safety latch looks like, and you just place it right onto the back and then press it down firmly. The first thing we're going to do is sew on the bottom portion below the beak, and the longer end goes towards the bottom. Just place it right on the edge of the head. Then take your tapestry needle, and you're just going to sew it in place right along the bottom edge. We still need to crochet into these stitches on the head, so don't go into those stitches, but just line up the furry portion right along that edge, and then just sew it in place, and then come back. The next step is to take your eyes and place them and sew them in place. This is what mine looks like after sewing on the eyes. This is how I sewed on the eyes for the large penguin. I put it right towards the inner eye, inner side of the backing, the furry backing. Make sure that when you position it that you have the white portion positioned correctly, and that's how mine looks. And this is what it looks like on the larger penguin after I sewed the eyes on. For the beak, I used the gold color. And for the smaller beak, you're going to loop your yarn over on each other, and then take your F or 4mm crochet hook, just go right through the loop, hold the base with your middle finger and thumb, then just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to make a chain of 8. Then you're going to take your crochet hook and go into the second chain from the hook, bring up a loop, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through both for a single crochet. And then you're going to make a single crochet into every stitch back across. Then you're going to turn, go into the next stitch over, and make a single crochet into every stitch back across. And then you should have 6 single crochet when you're finished. Then you're just going to turn, make a single crochet into the next stitch over, and then you're going to make 5 single crochet. Then turn, go into the next stitch over and make 4 single crochet. Then turn, go into the next stitch over for 3. You can see how it's forming a triangle, which is what you want for your beak. And then turn for 2 single crochet. Then turn and slip stitch into the next stitch over. Just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through both loops on your hook for a slip stitch. Then finish off, yarn over, pull enough yarn through just to bury into your work. And you're going to need 2 of these. Once you finish your last single crochet down the other side, go ahead and finish off, yarn over and pull the yarn through, pull enough to sew the beak on to the penguin. And then I just tuck all of the loose yarn ends right into the center. And then I'm going to sew my beak onto the penguin. So here's the smaller beak. For the larger beak, it's made the same way, except that you're starting with a chain of 10. And then when I moved up to the next row, I chained 1, and then I made a single crochet into every stitch back across, and then the rest of the beak is made the same way. You just turn and single crochet back, turn and then single crochet back all the way to the point, the same way that you made the smaller beak. And if you didn't make the smaller beak, I'll go ahead and just show you what I did. So go ahead, finish making 1 single crochet into every stitch across, and then come back. This is how my work looks. Then just turn your work, and then single crochet into the next stitch over, and then just make 1 single crochet into every stitch back across. Then when you reach the end, you just turn your work, go into the next stitch over, and then make a single crochet all the way back across. Keep doing that all the way until you get to the point, and then come back and I'll show you what to do next. So I just finished 1 single crochet into 2 stitches. Now I'm going to turn my work for my last stitch, and for the last point stitch I'm just going to go into the next stitch over, and then I'm going to do a slip stitch. So I'm going to yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch, and then finish off just enough to bury into your work. And you need 2 of these. Then you're going to get your 2 pieces that you just made and put them together, and we're going to crochet them together. Take your crochet hook, put it right into the end stitch on both triangles. Then take your yarn, go ahead and hook your yarn and bring it through. Make a chain 1, turn the work over, and then just tie a knot. Then you're just going to make a single crochet evenly spaced all the way to the top, and then come back. I'm going to do a few with you. I'm also going to bury some of my loose yarn ends. So you just take, go into the next stitch over, go behind your loose yarn ends, bring up a loop, make a single crochet, and then you're going to single crochet all the way to the top. I'm just going to do a few with you so you can see how I do it. And then at this point I can tuck the loose yarn ends into the inside and then continue making a single crochet to the point at the top of the beak. I'm also going to tuck those loose yarn ends at the point into the center of the work as I crochet. Then I'm going to grab the point, both points, make a single crochet at the point. Then I'm going to start going down the other side, just making one single crochet into every stitch. Now at this point I'm going to put one more into this stitch so it doesn't curl up. So 2 single crochet in the same stitch, and then I'm going to go down the other side. So go ahead, finish making a single crochet into every stitch down the other side, and then come back. Then when you reach the end, you're just going to yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew the beak onto the penguin. Then take any other loose yarn ends and just tuck them right into the beak. So then you have your smaller beak and you have your larger beak for your penguins. This is what my beak looks like after sewing on the larger beak. And then this is the smaller beak. This is what the white and the pink look like together. Once you've finished sewing on the penguin's face, then I'm going to show you how to close the head. So you just take your crochet hook, go right where you left off, and make sure you have a yarn marker in place. Then you're going to make one single crochet into the next 4 stitches. And then you're going to make your decrease stitch. So you just go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, 2 loops on the hook, go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through all 3 for a decrease stitch. And then you repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. Go ahead and stuff the head at any time, and then you're going to make your next decrease round. Go ahead and move your yarn marker up, and then you're going to make one single crochet into 3 stitches and then make your decrease stitch. Repeat that pattern all the way around. For the next round, one single crochet into 2 stitches and then your decrease stitch. Then for your next round, you're going to make one single crochet into 1 stitch, and then you're going to make your decrease stitch all the way around. And I'm completing my round now. You can see how I'm almost closed. I'm going to stuff mine a little bit more, and then I'll show you how to close it completely. Since this one's almost closed, instead of doing a decrease round, I'm just going to do slip stitches to close it. So what you're going to do is skip a stitch, go into the next stitch, and then you're going to yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on your hook for a slip stitch. And you're just going to do that all the way around until it's completely closed. And then one more should do it. Then you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Then just take your tapestry needle put it onto the loose yarn end, and then go right down where you tied your knot and come out anywhere on the body. I mean the head. And now we can sew the head onto the body. Now once you finish putting the face onto your large penguin, we're going to close the head. So just take and go where you left off, and you're going to make 1 single crochet into 7 stitches. And then you're going to make your decrease stitch. So you're going to take your crochet hook, you're going to go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, then go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through all 3 for a decrease stitch. You're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker and then come back. If you have any stitches left right before the yarn marker, just make a single crochet into those stitches, and then for the next decrease round you're just going to make 1 single crochet into 6 stitches and then make your decrease stitch. Then you're going to make 1 single crochet into 5 stitches and the decrease stitch. And I think you see the pattern now. For this round it's going to be 1 single crochet into 4 stitches and then your decrease stitch. You can go ahead and stuff the head now, and just stuff it at any time during closing now, and go ahead and finish. Now you know the pattern. This round will be 1 single crochet into 3 stitches and then decrease. Next round will be 1 and 2 and then 1 and then a decrease. When you're almost closed, come back and I'll show you how to slip stitch it closed. Now you can see how I'm almost closed. I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch it closed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip a stitch, go into the next stitch. You can pinch it, and that just helps to stabilize the work, and then you're going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and bring the yarn through both loops. Let me try that again. For a slip stitch. Then you're just going to keep doing that all the way until it's closed. One more should close mine completely. Then I'm going to finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into the work. Then just take your tapestry needle, put it onto the loose yarn end, and then you're just going to take your tapestry needle and go through where you tied the knot and out anywhere on the head, and then just cut it, and then your head is all done.